Because there's still racism in America. What are you thinking?
There's a lot of, racism. There's a lot of, job place, workplace discrimination and that type of thing. That's just my thing. I agree with, I support it because you do have a lot of job place discrimination. You have a lot of racism. You have all that shit still going on. So,
Well,
yeah.
inequity. There's a lot of inequity. It's not equal. And the way I look at it is the whole reason we ever needed affirmative action in this country is because people don't start off in the same starting point in life, and whether it's race or socioeconomic or whatever. And this was to get people at the starting line, all on the same starting line. And that's how I look at it. And so as long as there's racism in America, we still need affirmative action, not just for black people, but for Hispanics and Asian and everybody. So that's how I think. Do you agree with that, Jason?
I agree.
Great. Good. What about you, Christian?
I think that is a no fucking brainer.
Okay. Well, I would too, but some people don't.
Right. Well, as as my generation is growing up, we doing good.
You doing good, girl? Okay. So 2 more things, and we'll move on. That would be immigration. Do you think illegal immigrants should be given access to government subsidized health care and tuition and things like that, who are illegal, not legal aliens, but illegal aliens?
Why not? They're already here. They're working.
Right.
Why not?
So do you think they should be sent back to where they came from, or
no?
Okay.
No. That ain't in the budget. But,
well, Donald Trump certainly seems to think that we should send them all
Donald Trump
back.
does a lot of stupid shit.
Yes, he does.
Okay. I'm going to give my honest opinion.
Okay,
and
please
I
do.
really need you guys to educate me. So, if you're an illegal immigrant, no. However, I do think that illegal immigrants, the whole situation is an impossible situation to ignore or to try to fight. It's just not what it is.
Right.
However, I do feel like if you're on the track to become an American citizen from immigration and you do become an American citizen, absolutely, why not? You're an American citizen. But I don't think it's fair for an illegal immigrant to come to this country and then just cash out on all our benefits. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. And what I think about this is this. I think if you're an illegal immigrant to America, I don't care if you're Mexican or French or German or whatever, it doesn't matter what you are. If you're not an actual citizen of this country, I don't think we should have to pay for your kids to go to school or for you to have health care or whatever. You should have to pay for that yourself. That's how I think. Now, however, I also think this, though. I think that if you are an illegal immigrant, you've been here for a long time, you've made a life here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I do believe the United States of America should somehow give them some sort of route to citizenship. Meaning, yes, they came illegally, blah, blah, blah. That's wrong. They should have some sort of penalty for that. And then they can get actual citizenship by whatever, working or whatever the fuck they want to do, going to college, I don't know, whatever. I think there should be a route to citizenship, but I do not think that they should have the benefits we have either.
Absolutely not. It's like a job. You got to do your 60 days, your 90 days before your insurance kicks in.
Right, Jason.
You got to do your time.
Do you disagree, Jason?
I disagree.
Okay. So you think they should just be able to come over? So I can go over to Mexico like I want to, but let's go to Mexico or Canada or France, and I can go there and I can sneak into the country and not get a visa and work there and not have any access and have access to everything that they have in terms of their medical.
But here's my thing on it. I think that when people originally come to America, to better themselves, better their lives.
Great. Awesome.
So my thing is, but a lot of people don't have the finances to go through it in the legal process. This is just the way I think. I feel like starting off, they don't have the finances to do it.
I don't think that's
true,
true,
Jason. They come over
Jason.
here illegally and then maybe work, save money, and then try to do it the legal way later on down the road.
But do you realize how much it costs for them to get over here in the first place? Most of the time they don't. First of all, they don't come through like the checkpoints or whatever because there's a record of that, obviously, and they can find out that they're here illegally and they never leave. So they usually sneak in through mules and things like that, and people who sneak them into the country, which they have to pay them tons and tons of money to do just for one person. So my point is that I don't think it's about the financial part of it. I think it's just about the fact that it's easier to sneak across and not it's easier to break a law and ask for forgiveness than to go through the actual process, I think. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's about the money, but whatever. So anyway, that's that. Last one is going to be about where is it? Pot use. Do either one of you use pot, or have you ever used pot? Either one of you?
I think everybody can say they've smoked pot at some point in their life. I do think that marijuana should be legalized to the extent of prescription.
You only think it should be a prescription and not legalized for recreational use? First of all, let me say that I have never in my life used a recreational drug, not one. I'm square as they come.
Well, forgive me for assuming.
but I do believe that marijuana use should be legalized recreationally. And the reason is because, in my opinion, and what my research I've seen and people I've been told, blah, 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 it is very similar to alcohol in terms of its effect. It's not it's a natural thing, right? It's not like it's a pharmaceutical drug. So I do not think that so I think it should be both medical for medicinal uses as well as for recreational. Why do you think it should only be used for medicinal uses?
Because I don't want to be at McDonald's with like a secondary high.
I've had a secondary high actually from a Depeche Mode concert.
I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, why do I have to be subject to that?
Because
getting to that point, though.
It's the same as somebody who smokes. You don't like being around smokers either, right?
Well, I don't like.
So then you have a smoking section and a non-smoking section, just like you have for smokers. It's no different. You don't have to be around it unless you only want to be around it. People that you know who smoke pot, that's different. I mean, I have friends who smoke pot, and they don't smoke it around me because then I don't want to be around it.
And if I want to be around it, I'll be around it. But if I'm walking around doing my thing, I'm in my mode, I'm being, positive, successful, sickening, and then all of a sudden I walk into somebody's whiff, get a little secondary high, slows me down the rest of the day. I ain't got time for that. That's not for me.
It is no different than cigarette smoking, please. It's the same thing.
I was about to say that.
It's the same thing because the effects on you in terms of like, I mean, I'm sure you could get a high or whatever, like you were saying, to some degree, but you have to be around it for a lot longer than a whiff. You're not going to just get a whiff and go, ooh! I mean, you're not going to go high all of a sudden. You have to actually be around it for a sustained few minutes at least. So, anyway, I just think that's ludicrous, but whatever. Jason, what do you think?
It's already getting to that point. I mean, Colorado's already legalized it, and people are happy as fuck over there. So, I mean, it's getting to that point. I mean, isn't there another state that just legalized it? Or yeah. So I mean, it's getting to that point already. My thing is, just go ahead and legalize it. People have already smoked it. I mean, I have not run across a person that has told me that they have never. Well, besides you,
you did today.
That they've never smoked, marijuana, or at least tried it.
I've never smoked marijuana. I never tried it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I was like, but besides you.
I know I'm special.
I mean, I don't see any harm in it. I mean, I'd be more against the alcohol than fucking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like
marijuana.
You smoke a few joints. Apparently, you get pretty, lethargic. So you're just gonna stay home and watch TV and eat chips or whatever, Funyuns. But when you're actually drinking, you get into a car and you think you can do whatever the fuck you want and you go and kill somebody. It's just a huge difference.
I personally have never heard of anyone killing someone because they were so high, in a car accident.
Because it has never happened.
I mean, it's only with alcohol. I've never heard. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to prove a point. Just saying that I've never heard that happen where something like, oh my God, I was so high, I killed a family of 4.
Right.
So, that's my thing. But legalize it. It's already getting to that point. I feel like
it's gonna happen. I mean, it's gonna happen. There's no denying it.
Also, because the money is so good. So,
oh my goodness gracious! Yeah,
the government. Wants
I just would hate to see our society dazed and confused.
Please, please. You're like some old woman from like the 20s talking about prohibition or something.
Being progressive and working hard and chasing their money and being ambitious.
It's too late for that.
Just because you smoke pot doesn't mean you're not a hard-working person.
Hey, I'm not saying that.
See,
but I feel as the general public.
No,
did you not just say marijuana makes people lethargic?
It does. It doesn't mean that you can't function on it though. It doesn't mean you go out, you go to work, and you start smoking pot in the middle of a meeting. I mean, it. Nobody, come on, unless you're a rap star or something.
You also have to think about like the youth, right? I went to high school with a lot of people that smoke pot, and it like messed up their wiring, their brains.
That's because they're addicts, not because they're of pot.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying if it becomes a legal substance or a legal substance, then our minors have it's easier for them to get it, and then they're mushing their brains before they're even grown.
That's going to happen regardless. My point is, I was the same age as these kids were then and people around me, and some of us chose to do pot and some of us didn't. It has nothing to do with whether we had access to it or not, because it's still
right. But if
accessible.
it becomes a society's expectation that, you know, it's legal and everybody does it.
Well, it's going to be the same way. If it becomes legal, they're going to put limitations on it or legal stipulations to it, just like they do for cigarettes. You have to be at least 18 to purchase cigarettes. If they legalize it, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be the same way for marijuana.
I agree.
I mean, it's not like they're gonna have a 9-year-old to go into the store and he or she can go buy
obviously not yeah.
But I mean, it's probably gonna be the same thing. We have to be at least 18 to purchase cigarettes. You have to be at least 18 to purchase some marijuana. So I mean,
all right. Well, that's a soft show on political stuff. Now, you have anything to talk about?
Are you guys open to talking about if you were to vote today, who are you going to vote for?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders for me.
Me too. What about you, Jason?
I'm undecided.
But you have to vote. You have to vote today.
Who would you vote for if you had to vote today?
Based
on what you know, which may not be much bad because you're not that interested in politics.
I don't know enough about the candidates.
You have to vote today. Vote.
You got a gun to your head. Pick somebody.
Are you Democrat or are you Republican?
I'm Democrat.
Okay. Are you going to vote for Hillary Clinton or are you going to vote for Bernie Sanders? See, but then y'all want to say millennials, people in their 20s, they don't vote, they don't.
But I need more info. I don't want. I want to say Hillary because I'm already familiar.
You
with
know
her.
Hillary, right?
I don't want.
That's fair.
Offer that because I don't know anything about the other.
That's fair. That's fair. So you would vote for Hillary if you had to vote between those. You would vote for Hillary.
I guess I would vote for Hillary.
Okay, cool. Now, tell me anything you want to talk about pop culture-wise before we go. We've got about 15 minutes.
Madonna is launching her tour tonight. What do you have any expectations? Anything you want?
I don't care.
He don't care.
I wasn't asking you.
Well, I'm going to her concert in January.
I know, but what would be? This is gonna be a tough question. Mm-hmm. What would be a disappointing Madonna show to you? Like, what would, if this and this and this was missing, would make it a disappointing?
Well, I already know what the set list is, so I already know what the show is, so I already know what to expect. And I am a little disappointed because she is not singing a couple songs that I like, but she doesn't ever sing everything the same every time.
Well, there's so many.
No, she sings her old stuff, but she just doesn't sing.
I'm saying that's usually people expect.
But someone like me who's a huge Madonna fan, it's like I expect so much because I know every fucking song, and so like I pull out songs on my ass like Secret Garden that she's never sung ever in public. I'm like, sing Secret Garden, so I mean she never wouldn't sing anyway. So I want, no matter what happens, I'll be very happy because I'll be close to the stage. I'll be close to be able to see her sweat and say, girl, I love you. So
that's good enough.
That's all I care about. Just being in her presence, the Queen's presence.
I guess for me, if I were to go to a Madonna concert,
if you were,
a disappointing thing for me would probably be no wardrobe changes. Hint, hint.
Oh, please. We're talking about Madonna.
Madonna would never.
She is the queen of performing. No, that's never going to happen. Now, Janet Jackson, poor thing. I know we talked about this last week. I love her, and I still, as I said last week, I think she should have absolutely made some fucking changes. And, she's still good. Still love her voice. Still love her work, but she should have done
Speaking
something.
of Janet, I love me some Janet, but is it just me or is it just, or do I feel like her comeback has just kind of been kind of lackluster?
It's like, mm-hmm.
I was expecting like this big huge comeback, and she comes out with the song.
She has another new song out that's like a super big dance song.
She hasn't released her album either. It's just the one song.
Well, yeah.
I've heard the dance track. It has some. I don't like it as of now.
Maybe it doesn't have you dancing.
No.
She needs. The problem is, I think, is that she. It seems to me, I don't know. Didn't her husband finance this or something, or she and her husband together or something? I don't know. She did her own label or some shit. I don't know. And it seems to me some artists need more guidance than others in terms of their marketing and that kind of stuff. And I don't think she really handled this very well in terms of her comeback. She should have had much more fanfare about it. She should have done some